when you grow old and are left alone. Do these things. As we move beyond the years of youth, one day we look in the mirror and see that our hair has turned silver. Fine lines trace the corners of our eyes, and the house feels quieter than it ever has before. You may find yourself alone, a kind of aloneness that once might have frightened you. The people you used to love may have gone their own way. The late-night conversations are now distant echoes, and in moments like these, it's easy to feel forgotten. But if you think life is winding down, let me tell you something. No, it's only just beginning. 1. Don't be afraid of silence. Let it become a conversation with yourself. When no one else is there at the dinner table, don't rush to feel sad. Light a candle. Cook yourself a nourishing meal. Sit down and ask, "Am I doing okay today?" You'll be surprised how strong, kind, and beautiful you've always been. Learn to love the quiet. It's where your heart gets a chance to speak. 2. Step outside every day, even if it's just around the block. Morning air, a warm coffee, sunlight dancing on the trees. These are life's simplest yet most powerful gifts. Don't let age keep you indoors. Walk, slowly but surely. Each step is proof. You are alive, you are still moving, and your journey still matters. 3. Try something new. No matter how small. Learn to knit, paint, play the piano. Start journaling your life story. It's never too late to begin. Every time you try something new, you open a new door. Curiosity, joy, excitement. They're still in you, waiting patiently for your invitation. 4. Write letters to your past and send love to your future. Maybe you've been hurt. Maybe someone left when you needed them most. But your past doesn't need to be erased. It needs to be healed. Write a letter to your 30-year-old self, your 50-year-old self. Thank them for surviving. Forgive them for their missteps. Then write to the woman you'll be at 80. Tell her how fully you're living this moment. 5. Connect. Not to fill a void, but to radiate light. There's a difference between being alone and being independent. You don't need anyone to complete you, but you can still choose to love, to share. Join a book club. Take a cooking class. Smile at someone on the street. Connection doesn't have to be loud. It can begin with a soft glance and a warm hello. 6. Be the light. Someone else is looking for the stories you carry, of love, loss, triumph, our treasures. Share them, write them, pass them down. Each time you speak, you light a path for someone who's still trying to find their way. In doing so, you become timeless, not through youth, but through meaning. 7. Stop asking permission to live. You are the gift. Old age isn't the end, it's the reward. No longer burdened by competition or expectation, you get to choose. Wear your favorite dress. Travel alone. Eat dessert at midnight. Cry if it heals you. This life is yours. No one else gets to live it for you. And you need no one's approval to shine. 8. Make peace with what cannot be changed. Some people won't return. Some dreams won't come true. But that doesn't make you less. Look at yourself. You've weathered storms. You're still here. You can still love, still smile, still give. That, my dear, is magic. 9. Care for your body. It's the only home you'll never leave. Though your hair may be gray and your skin may wrinkle, your body still deserves love. Walk, eat well, rest, get checkups. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Each time you care for yourself, you say, "Thank you for carrying me all these years." 10. Love yourself in the way you always wanted to be loved. If you've ever waited for someone to love you deeply, let that someone be you. Buy yourself flowers. Hug yourself when no one's around. Forgive yourself. You've waited long enough. Now is the time to become your own great love, your own safe place. And so, growing old and being alone does not mean you've been left behind. It means you've arrived at the most sacred chapter of your life. This is your time to return to yourself, the truest companion you've always had. You are not alone. You are entering the most beautiful part of your story, where you no longer live to please the world, but to finally, fully be yourself. And you know what? That is breathtakingly beautiful. Part 2. When solitude becomes a path. Back to your inner world. One of the greatest gifts that aging and solitude bring is the chance to come home to yourself. When no one is pulling you in different directions anymore. No deadlines, no expectations, no roles to play. You can finally sit still. Not to wait for someone to arrive, but to hear the quiet voice within. The one that's been silenced by years of caregiving, people-pleasing, and trying to be enough. Now you don't have to be anyone for anyone else. You're no longer the busy mother, no longer the selfless wife, no longer the woman who had to be thin, young, or beautiful just to feel seen. You just need to be you, with every wrinkle, every story, every scar that shaped you. And in that simplicity, something remarkable happens. You become radiant. Meditate. Journal. Sit with a warm cup of tea and ask yourself, what do I truly desire in this next chapter of my life? Don't fear being alone. If lived with intention, solitude becomes sacred ground, where you're not decaying but being reborn, not into a new body, but into a spirit that is lighter, wiser, and finally free. Part 3. Rebirth. Often looks like starting from scratch. Some people think getting old is the end of dreams, of passion, of becoming. But here's the truth. Sometimes it's only after you lose everything that you can begin again. For real. You're no longer bound by anyone's opinion. You're no longer living to impress, to prove, or to earn love. You are finally free to take risks, to mess up, to start over. Like a 20-year-old girl chasing her dreams. But this time, you carry something youth never had. Wisdom. Remember, some people write their first novel at 70. Some take up dancing at 80. Some find the love of their life after 60. So never say it's too late. Begin again. But this time, do it for you. If you've always dreamed of traveling, start planning. If you've longed to paint, pick up the brush. If love has broken your heart before, heal it and open it again. Not for someone else, but because your heart deserves to feel joy one more time. Because you know what? The most powerful woman isn't the one who has everything. She's the one who dares to begin again when everything seems over. Part 4. You are not forgotten. You are becoming visible to yourself. There comes a time in a woman's life when she must ask, whose voice have I been listening to all these years? For decades, maybe you lived for others. For your children, your partner, your family. You were needed. You were useful. But now, the house is quiet. The phone doesn't ring as often. No one asks where you are or what you're cooking for dinner. And that silence can feel like abandonment. But here's what no one tells you. You are not forgotten. You are being given back to yourself. This stage of life is not invisibility. It is clarity. You start to see things as they really are. Who truly loved you, what truly mattered, and where you truly belong. You begin to recognize your patterns, your pain, your power. You learn how to comfort yourself, how to laugh without needing an audience, how to dress, speak, and walk, not to please others, but to honor your soul. Because now, you no longer seek the spotlight. You become the light itself. Part 5. Legacy is not what you leave behind. It's what you become. In your younger years, you might have wondered, what will I leave behind? Will it be money, a name, a photograph on someone's wall? But as you grow older, you realize, legacy isn't about what remains after you're gone. It's about who you become while you're still here. Your kindness is your legacy. The way you forgave others, even when they didn't say sorry, that is your legacy. The courage to live alone, love yourself, and start again after heartbreak. That too is legacy. Every time you smiled at a stranger, listened without judgment, or simply showed up when you didn't feel like it, you were building something eternal. And one day, maybe your granddaughter will stand tall, because you once dared to walk alone. Maybe your story will whisper to another woman, "You are not too old to begin." So live like your life still matters, because it does. You are not just aging, you are becoming immortal through the lives you've touched. And if you ever feel like you're fading, remember this: the stars only shine in the dark. Part 6. Love yourself like you once loved others. There is a kind of love no one teaches us, the kind we owe to ourselves. As women, especially in our younger years, we were taught to pour our hearts into everyone else. We fed others before feeding ourselves. We gave time, attention, forgiveness, even when it drained us. And we called it strength. We called it love. But now, with time as your quiet companion, you are being asked to return home. Not to a house, but to your own heart. What if you treated yourself the way you once treated the people you loved most? What if you made tea for your soul, wrapped your own arms around your sadness, and whispered, "I see you. You've done enough. You've carried so much." Self-love at this stage is not indulgent. It is sacred. It's a woman finally becoming the caretaker of her own spirit. So, cook for yourself with joy. Walk in the sun not because someone's waiting, but because your skin misses the light. Buy the flowers. Light the candle. Read the book slowly. Let silence be your companion, not your enemy. And every day, say to the mirror, "You are still beautiful, and you still belong." Part 7. This is not the end. It's your second bloom. There is a myth we must break, that growing old means becoming irrelevant. No. Growing old is becoming elemental, like fire, like water, like wind that has nothing left to prove. You are not a woman in her twilight. You are a woman stepping into her second bloom. Because the truth is, life blooms again when it is no longer rushed. Love becomes deeper when it is no longer desperate. Joy becomes richer when you are no longer performing it for anyone. This is the season where you get to write your own script. Not the one society handed you. Not the one shaped by duty, or guilt, or expectation. But the one your soul has longed for. Now you can dance slower, but with more feeling. Speak less, but with more meaning. And above all, live simpler, but more fully. Your second bloom doesn't need to be flashy. It just needs to be true. And that is your power now. Part 8. Embrace the beauty of solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is the ache of absence. But solitude, true solitude, is the presence of your own soul. There is a quiet magic in learning how to be with yourself. To wake up and greet the morning with no one beside you, yet still feel the warmth of your own breath, the rhythm of your own heartbeat, the comfort of knowing you are enough. Many fear solitude because they've never truly met themselves. But when you sit still long enough, when the noise of the world fades, you begin to hear her. That girl inside you. That woman you used to silence. She never left. And now, she whispers through the stillness, "I'm proud of you." She tells you you're stronger than you think. She reminds you that peace is not found in noise, but in learning to sit in silence and not run away from it. In solitude, you discover new pleasures. The way the sunlight spills across your kitchen floor. The way your tea warms your hands on a rainy afternoon. The way you can cry freely and laugh even louder. You are not invisible. You are infinite, not forgotten, but free. So instead of fearing the quiet, welcome it. Let solitude become your sanctuary, not your sentence. Because the truth is, you do not need to be surrounded to be whole. You do not need to be partnered to be loved. You are not waiting for someone to complete you. You have already arrived. Part 9. Leave a legacy that's not just things, but meaning. Delay di san kom chila vachut, maladiu ka ingia so sa. When you reach this season of life, where the days are quieter and the calendar is no longer full of responsibilities, something within you begins to ask, what will I leave behind when I'm gone? For most of our lives, we think of legacy in terms of material things. The house we built, the jewelry we saved, the photo albums we kept in the attic. But what if your real legacy has nothing to do with what can be touched, and everything to do with what can be felt? Because the truth is, things will fade. The dresses will lose their color. The dishes will chip. Even names might be forgotten over time. But how you made people feel, that lives on forever. That becomes your true fingerprint on the world. Ask yourself, did I teach my granddaughter to love herself before the world taught her to shrink? Did I leave room for forgiveness? Not because they deserved it, but because I did. Did I light a candle in someone else's darkness, even when mine was flickering? These are the questions that shape a meaningful legacy. Legacy is not always loud. Sometimes it's in the smallest things. A handwritten letter tucked in a book. A recipe passed down without measurements, only until it tastes like home. A quiet story told at bedtime that becomes a life lesson decades later. A moment when you told someone, you matter, and they believed you, because you meant it. A meaningful legacy is not built in one grand moment. It is woven gently through the ordinary, through the everyday decisions to show up, to care, to forgive, to begin again. And it's never too late to begin. Even in your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, you are still shaping the echo you will leave behind. So speak kindness, live with courage, plant seeds you may never see bloom, because that too is love. Let your life be a letter to the future, not just a list of things you owned, but a living testament to the kind of woman you chose to become. Because in the end, you won't be remembered by what you left in your will, but by what you left in their hearts.